Hello, folks. Welcome back. It's me, Jello, at Jello on Tumblr. I'm here with
Jazzy, and I am Gremlin Elrix on Tumblr.
Welcome back to episode 2 of yet another abnormal podcast, the Levihan podcast, where we talk about Full Metal Alchemist. Jazzy, thoughts?
I think it's amazing. I think it's a rite of passage in order to join the server to be a FMA stan. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty obvious. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're back with episode 2. The pilot episode was a great success. Thank you to everyone involved. We're back for number 2. Here we go. Who do we have today?
Today we have Angie and Sav.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Sav is obviously big.
Yeah.
Sav is obviously a renowned writer in the fandom at Tundra in Africa. Very popular. Okay, I'm excited. But first, before we get into those interviews, quick recap from last month in case you missed it.
All right, so our server reached level 2 with boosters, which is super awesome.
Thank you, Nitro users. I'm one of them.
Oh my god. I'm clapping right now, but you can't hear. But it's okay. Anyways,
November was kind of a chill month. We got a lot coming in December. What's coming?
I don't know everything, but there's 2 things that I know of. There's the Levihan Secret Snowman gift exchange. Then we also have the 24-day Levihan Christmas countdown. Just lots of writing prompts, art prompts, anything and everything prompts. Just check it out. There's a post that is on Tumblr, I believe. Mm-hmm. Yes, on Tumblr, and you can check that out.
Yeah, loaded 24 days of Levihan content. Awesome. And there's also going to be some Discord server exclusive activities. So if you're not on the server, sorry, but join us already. What are you waiting for? We are rewatching Attack on Titan season 4 every Sunday. It's going to be 2 episodes per Sunday, so that we will be caught up by the time part 2 comes out, January 9th. And we're going to have a quote of the day bot channel. Wow. I'm excited. And some karaoke nights. So we're singing Christmas carols, okay?
Oh no. It's gonna be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was just gonna say we're watching Attack on Titan. The time zone that is unfortunately picked has me getting up at 5 a.m. to watch, so I will not be joining. I apologize, but you guys can cry over Sasha's death at 5 a.m. for me. I will just be sleeping. Sorry. Anyways.
Yeah, it's too early to be sad.
Yeah, exactly. Last but not least, chaos unfolded on the server. We had this Tika apocalypse. I really don't even know what to say. One typo spiraled into a whole mess. So
You were drunk Tika 1 and I was drunk Tika 2. Everyone was a different type of Tika, and I didn't know who it was because the Barbie movies were just a little after my time. I think I would have been old or young enough to watch the first. I know there was Swan Lake and the Nutcracker one. I watched those ones for sure. But there's 20 now? I don't know. So I don't know who Tika is. I learned who Bibble was from Lord Bibble. Shout out to Ash. But yeah, apparently, so Tika is this creepy looking elephant from one of the Barbie movies. And somebody typed, it was Ness. Ness tried to type Rika and it came out Tika. And Rika was just in a mood. And it turned into that.
No, literally. Ness made one mistake and Rika sprinted. Rika absolutely fucking marathon ran with that shit. And, yeah.
Yeah, that was... I think some people are still Tikas in there. I changed back because nobody knows who I am.
Yeah, I changed back. I'm sorry, guys. But yes, more on the Tika apocalypse in our later segments of this episode, I believe.
Yes, Tika is a wonderful guest on our Ask the Vets segment. You sent in your questions.
They?
The elephant will answer them.
Okay, now we're going to move on to my interview with Angie. It was super fun. Angie is Fayriel Art on all of her socials. So yeah, let's listen to Angie and I babble about Levihan incoherently. Let's jump right into it.
Awesome.
Hello, folks. It is Jazzy. And I am joined here today by the lovely Angie for this interview/podcast. Hello, Angie. How do you feel?
Hi, Jazzy. Yeah, I'm feeling a bit nervous, but it's you. I'm comfortable with you, so it's gonna be okay.
Perfect. That's what I like to hear. There's gonna be 2 sections to this. There's just gonna be our question section, and then the next section will be the game. So let's just get right into the questions. The first is the age-old question. So when and how did you start shipping Levi and Hanji? What is the origin story?
Okay, buckle up. It's a wild ride. No, it's not. It's not real wild ride. I think it's a pretty basic story. I think at least 98% of us saw episode 9, minute 3, second 20, the hair grab, and we were like, okay, I can get behind this. And that's basically what my brain thought the moment I saw that. Only there was this little problem because this happened in like 2013. I was 12 years old and I didn't speak English. I had just got started with my anime phase, okay? So like Hetalia was my gateway, and then immediately after that, Attack on Titan. So I was a bit confused about everything, and I didn't speak English. So everything I knew was very like approximate knowledge of things I could find on the internet and like shitty translation services that the forums back in the day used to provide people in fandoms. So I had quite a bit of disadvantages in this aspect. I was like watching this and I saw these two characters I had never seen before. And I was like, okay, 12-year-old brain ships it. The thing is, we were watching the episodes on illegal streaming sites, but they were subtitled. And the subtitles were provided by forums generally. And there was this Italian forum for Japanese animation, and I was subscribed there. And I remember reading in one of the chats, oh my God, they're married. And I took that seriously.
Oh my God.
I really did. I was like, okay, like my brain just acquired this information. Like, okay, these two characters are married. And I went on with my day and never thought about it again. A year later, when my English was definitely better, I had stopped hanging out in forums. I was a bit disappointed to find out that this was not a thing. This is my villain origin story because ever since then, I have been waiting for this fucking marriage that never officially happened. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, person in 2013 who made a fool of myself for like a year. Anyway.
No.
Yeah, I think I did this on Tumblr like some months ago. I got an ask, and I remember writing this. As I was remembering this again, I was like, did I seriously do that? It's probably one of my cringiest moments because I was so happy for this for no reason. And then I was completely crushed like a year later. And by my non-existent abilities to speak English and understand that people are sarcastic and ironic on the internet.
Oh my God, that is so funny. And were you watching it with Italian subs?
Yes, absolutely nothing English was happening in my life at that point. Like that was just gradually coming in. So I saw this person saying, oh my God, they're married. And I was like, okay, I can trust this person. And I mean, they were kidding. I just say now they're married, and I do know now, and my slightly more developed 20-year-old brain knows that's what they were meaning back in the day. But that was the first big disappointment of my life.
Well, you were like 13, so
Yeah.
it's okay. That's funny. That's hilarious. That's your villain origin story. Well, I'm glad that that person said that because you started shipping Levi and Hanji, and here you are now.
Yeah, they pushed me right into it. And here I am now, like 8 years. How many years was it? 2013? Yeah, 8 years.
But yes, okay, well, thank you for that answer. That was a lot more elaborate than I thought. Usually people are just like, oh no, they looked good together. I'm like, okay.
That would have been better. I mean, that would have definitely been less embarrassing, to be honest.
No, I like this one better. But you came a long way with your English as well. If freaking you were 13 and then you didn't speak English and then you're all of a sudden fluent.
Yeah, like that happened like a year, all thanks to being a weeb on the internet. Literally.
Oh my God.
All thanks to that.
Exactly. Now the parents tell us to get out of the house and stop watching anime. Bruh, you're learning things. You're learning whole new languages now.
Exactly.
Okay, I'll move on to the next question. You draw art. You draw amazing
Thank
art. And you've also started writing as well, which is awesome. Did you just start writing this year?
Yeah, that was my first. I mean, I was writing fic when I was 10 or 11 years old on the main Italian fanfiction website, and that was Total Drama fanfiction. I don't know if you've ever seen Total Drama.
Total Drama
Like the
Island?
yeah, that was.
I saw that, yeah, when I was like 9.
Yeah, I was like writing shit about that show, but that was like, it wasn't even fan fiction. It was just like pure embarrassment condensed into like 200 words. I lasted like a year doing that. Then I deleted everything because I was like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? But yeah, that was my first and only writing experience. And then I picked it up again this year after like 10 years.
Well, can I say I haven't finished the fic? I'm horrible. I'm literally reading 8 fics at one time. So I've read the first chapter, and I love your prose.
Thank you.
It is so like everything with Levi and his mom. Okay, I don't want to spoil the fic, but but I love it so much. And I think you said in the tags like there's lots of references to literature stuff. I mean, I can't really pick that up other than is it like poems at the top, or are they song lyrics?
There's both poems and song lyrics and book quotes.
Oh, perfect. They're so beautiful. They work so well. I like how you incorporate them.
I'm blushing. Thank you.
It's a podcast about you. Like I have to compliment you. I have to gas you up a little bit.
Oh my god. Okay, I mean, you might find an engagement ring under your pillow tonight. I mean,
yeah, because you want to be added to the long list of spouses that we have on this server.
Yeah, let's make a freaking harem. Let's go.
Yes, let's do it. But I wanted to ask, as a content creator, where do you draw inspiration
The
from?
fact that I am literally in Levihan brain rot 24/7, so that's the main source of inspiration. Like, I wake up in the morning, I take a breath, and I go, oh my god, canon. And that's basically my source of inspiration. I find my inspiration the most through songs, through musicals, because I am a giant Broadway nerd. So I am like listening to musical soundtracks and I'm like, oh my god, this would work so well as an alternative universe. This is basically for my art. Meanwhile, for my one story that I'm writing, mainly from the bitterness that I felt after the manga wrapped up. And I was like, oh my god, this is shit. I wanted to fix some stuff for my boy. So I was like, I need to write a love letter to this character because he deserves better. And I'm going to give him a happy ending. I don't care. I don't care if it's spoilers. I mean, I put it in the tags that it's angsty, but it's going to have a happy ending. So that was the main inspiration thing. My rage against a certain 30-year-old man living in Japan at the moment. That's my main source of inspiration.
God. I feel like that's a lot of people. I feel like a lot of people were like, fuck this guy.
I thrive on the anger. And it helps me produce things. So I guess it's a good thing.
It's all good. But yes, I want to ask about the actual art process as well.
I start by taking a picture of myself, like a selfie in a pose, because I can't draw anatomy for shit of my hands, like expression shit. And I use that as reference. And I start sketching that. Then I wish I could do line art. I can't. I am really bad at it. So I just draw on the sketch and call it a day. I just color draw on one layer. By the way, I just recently found out that line art is pronounced line art because before I had been pronouncing it linear. Which is really embarrassing of me because as a person who draws, I should know these things, but it's a 13-year-old brain every now and then popping up. So I just do everything on just one layer. I work in grayscale, so I never paint with colors because I have no idea how to. I'm not capable of putting colors together, to be honest, and I don't know color theory. So I should really study this shit because it's useful, but I'm a lazy bitch, so I guess my art will be shitty until I learn how to do things properly. So yeah, I just paint everything in black and white and then I put color over it using layer modes.
Oh my
And then I add a fuck ton of light. That's my art process.
I love the lighting though. I love the lighting.
The layer mode in Procreate is my best friend, like the add mode, which is like the shiniest setting possible. I use that so much.
It's like your brand. Bright lights and everything in the back.
Yeah,
but I love it so much.
It's almost like confusing sometimes.
No. It makes everything look really like ethereal. I love it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. You're so kind to me. Thank you.
Oh my god. The voice. Thank you for explaining it, telling the people, like the artists out
We
there.
have so many artists in this fandom. It's a blessing.
Oh yes. Even in the server.
Yeah.
So many. I love it so much. And I also didn't know that you take pictures of yourself to go as reference. Like, that's really cool.
Because generally I can't find anything on the internet because I have really specific things in my mind that I have no idea even how to look up on Google, like what keywords, because I usually make up the whole picture in my head and then I start working on it. So it's really hard to find the really specific pose that I need as reference. So I just do this embarrassing setup of like half an hour of me trying to get the angles right. right. I have so many pictures of myself looking very goofy on my phone. I should share them sometime. Like before and after, when I was still 3D and then turning myself into 2D Levi and Hanji.
Yes, that would be really fun. Please, we need this. If you're comfortable, we need this. Wait, how do you? Never mind. I can't ask that. This is not NSFW podcast.
I think I know what you wanted to ask.
I don't know. I feel like the people that listen to this, they're also gonna think this question as well.
Yeah, that's when Google comes into play.
Okay. That makes sense. I was like, what kind of selfies does she have on there? So, for our next question, let's talk more about our favorite losers. The nerd in the garden gnome, Levi and Hanji. We love them. What about these characters separately and their dynamic with each other do you love the most? What about them just does it for you?
Let's just say that it's just the cliche of the sunshine and the gloomy has always been like my go-to dynamic for basically almost every ship that I've ever had. I've always been drawn to characters that are like grumpy and introverted and they never seem to smile, but they're like super soft, kind people inside. And I've always also been attracted to like their opposites: sunshine, extroverted, smiley, happy, loud, but like keeping some sad shit inside. And I've always been a sucker for that kind of dynamic and those kind of characters. So that's what drew me. After the initial married mishap, what actually kept me sticking to the ship through the years was their dynamic. I just think it's one of the most wonderful aspects of the entire story, not just them as characters, but just like out of the entire series in general. If I could just take one thing to save out of everything, I would 100% choose their dynamic because I just love it. I think it's incredibly well done. And I just love them as characters in general. I think they're very well-rounded characters. Some other characters can they? But yeah, I do think Levi and Hanji, they're like one step ahead of the entire series, in my opinion. I wish I could just take them out and keep them to myself. Like, keep these two bitches from the world. And I feel so sad when I think of how things went down in Kinner, because it had so much potential. And I kind of believe that shit wrote itself at that point. Like, it would have been just natural for them to go on with their lives together. But yeah, someone decided to roast chicken in the story.
Roast chicken. Oh my god.
I think Sunday barbecue in the story, I mean.
No, Hanji crying right now. Hanji in past heaven crying right now.
I'm sorry, Angie. That was really mean.
Funny though. It's funny. It was good. Yes, I completely agree. I think Levi Han's dynamic is so special. I also weak for the whole cliche sunshine and grumpy pants. Like, come on. That's just classic.
Best trope ever. I don't take any criticism. Like, that's the superior trope. I don't even care.
Yeah. And even taking that trope and applying it to Levi and Hanji, I find they also break a lot of stereotypes as well, just because Hanji is taller than Levi and like
I think they subvert this trope also because opposites attract, whatever, but they are opposites only at surface level. But like you dig a tiny little bit deeper, and I feel like they're very, very, very similar to each other. I almost feel like they share the same brain.
Oh no, they do. 100%. Like, yes, like on the surface level, they're complete opposites. One is extroverted, one is introverted. One is loud and messy, one is quiet and clean, like, all that kind of stuff. But then they are very similar.
Yeah, especially like they are perfectly morally aligned. And I think that's very important in a relationship. They basically share the same values and opinions about what matters.
Exactly. And they also balance each other out like extremely well.
I just love how at the basis of their whole relationship there's like mutual respect. Yeah, they roast each other, whatever. Levi doesn't know how to communicate like a normal person because that's the situation he grew up in. But that's not a problem for Hanji. That's a problem for literally everyone else in the cast because they don't understand him. Isayama's words, not mine, before anyone comes at me and says I'm biased. But like, Hanji is his translator. Hanji knows what Levi means like all of the time and others don't. Like, I just think that's a level of mutual trust and respect, and that's a bond that's so deep. I don't think anyone else has it.
Exactly that. I also really love the moment in the manga. It didn't happen in the anime, but it was during the uprising arc. Do you remember when Hanji was Yeah,
Mhm.
after Pastor Nick. And then Hanji was like, let's
Don't get me started on the animated adaptation of Uprising because I'm gonna go grab a knife. But anyway, moving on.
They rearranged a lot of things, but yeah, that part really stuck out to me because that's one of the times we see Hanji really like scared,
Yeah.
doubtful, and unsure. And usually they're so like, we gotta do this. Like, if there's something we don't know, we gotta find out. Like, very determined, all that kind of stuff. And I loved in that scene how Levi kind of just went, okay, Hanji, stop overthinking it. This is the situation. This is what you could do. You can either do this or you can do this. Choose. And I know what you're going to choose as well. And Hanji's like, okay, you're right. I need to just. Hanji's very emotional about things, and Levi's more like a logic. That's what I mean. Like, how the things that the other lacks, they kind of make up for it, or they complement each other
It's
with
like
that.
they know what the other needs all the time, and they know exactly what to do or what to say to like make the other one feel better. And I think that's beautiful. Love it.
The last question I have for you is, if we got our happy Levihan ending, what do you think it would have looked like? How do you imagine their life together after the
I
war?
think the most subtle way that doesn't feel out of place would be just a panel of them sitting in a house. And I just imagine Levi sitting at a table with his eye uncovered, and then Hanji coming in with the eye uncovered as well. Their injuries are both shown to the world, basically, and like just setting down a cup of tea for both of them. I think that would have been enough to get the message across, to be honest. And I actually would have been satisfied with it, even without the author being any clearer about this, like he did, for example, for Mikasa with the baby and the family, the husband, whatever. I would have been really, really satisfied with this because it's subtle and it feels in character. It doesn't feel like too in your face because that's not them. Like, their whole dynamic was always really subtle, especially in the more romantic scenes. That was really, really subtle. So I guess this kind of tone should have been kept as well in a final panel of them together. My cheesier part of myself says that I would have also liked something like hand holding. I'm just a sucker for hand holding. I'm just gonna say that. Like, just a panel of Hanji setting a cup of tea down and then grabbing Levi's hand on the table. Like, that's it. Literally, that's it. I would have been satisfied with it.
That would have been amazing. It's not like in your
Yeah.
face kind of thing. I always imagined the scene where, the Levi in his wheelchair looking at Onyonkopon, like that last panel. If they had that same panel, but they had Hanji come up behind him and put their hand on his shoulder, and then they just kind of exchange
my
a look
God.
with each other.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
yeah.
Come on. That wrote
Anything like
itself.
that.
I hate this so much. Oh my God. Why didn't we get this? It wrote itself.
No, we're not doing this. We're not doing this right now. But anyways, thank you so much for your answers.
Thank you for your questions.
So the next segment is a game. It's called Who in SNK. It's basically a time-sensitive game where I will ask a question that is phrased like, who in SNK blank? And you, Angie, will have to give me a valid answer. I, as the judge, have to like your answer or accept your explanation at the end in order for you to get a point. So, for example, if I asked who in SNK can dance, I do not care what kind of magic you try and spin with me. If you say Hanji, I literally will not accept that. I do not care what anyone else thinks. Hanji cannot dance. Hanji will break their back trying to twerk. Anyways, you have 3 seconds to answer.
Okay.
If you're too slow, I'll move on to the next question. And at the end, we'll reconvene and see how many valid answers you got.
Okay.
Understand?
Yeah. Let's go.
You do? Okay, perfect. Who in SNK has dead parents?
Levi, Armin, Aaron, Mikasa. Like 99% of the cast.
Who in SNK would start a bar fight?
What start?
I'm
What
Was
start
the-
what? I didn't get it.
Next question. Who in SNK is a virgin?
I think 99% of Levi and Hanji, 100%. Levi, 100%.
Okay. Who in SNK did Mikasa kill?
Oh God.
Time.
Really
Who
bad
in
at this. Holy
SNK
shit.
is most likely to get a terrible tattoo?
100% Hanji. Are you joking?
Who in SNK is taller than Hanji?
Ervin.
Who in SNK is most likely to have a disease named after them?
Hanji.
Oh my god, okay.
I will die on this hill.
Ooh, I'm gonna need some explanations at the end. Okay, we'll see. We'll see about that one. But next one, who in SNK has blue eyes?
Armin, Soria.
Perfect. Those were all valid. Who in SNK will take care of others when they are sick?
Oh, Levi, definitely. Also, I feel like Mikasa would do that.
Who in SNK is from Wall Rose?
John?
Who in SNK will blame their farts on other people?
I feel like Levi would do that. I honestly think he would. And I also feel like he'd get away with it. I feel like people would believe him.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, 100%. Who in SNK was part of Aaron's military squadron in the Struggle for Tross District arc?
That guy with the sideburns, Thomas.
Okay. God, I thought you weren't gonna say his name. I was like, bro.
Like the one who became like a tiny chew toy and then he was swallowed with that gross sound effect. I have that in my mind right now. I'm like reliving
Oh my
the
God.
scene.
Who in SNK is a horrible actor? Time.
Aaron.
Time. Next question. Who in SNK would have a crush on an anime character?
Oh, definitely Armin. Yeah.
Okay.
Like a 4chan boy. I just imagine.
Not my son, not Armin. Okay.
Armin so dirty, but it gives me that vibe.
Oh my god, the poor kid. Oh my god. Okay, next question. So who in SNK is shorter than Levi?
Historia.
And then the last question. Who in SNK would you trust your drink with at the club?
Oh, definitely Levi, 100%. 100%. That he is a good man. He would defend my drink with his life.
He would. He 100% would. Okay, so that's the end of the game. Let's go over your answers and see how many you got. So the first question, who in SK has dead parents? You said Levi first. I guess I'll give you that. Like, we know for sure his mom died. We don't know about his whoever gave Kushel sperm. I'm not even gonna call him a dad. Okay, I'll give you that one. Okay, the next question, who would start a bar fight? You didn't hear me. I'm sorry, but that was the question.
Oh, okay.
I would have accepted Aaron, John, Angie. I also would have accepted Levi as well.
I feel like Aaron would have been the most fitting answer because that bitch has got a short temper.
Oh my god. Valid. Okay. So the next one, question 3, was who in SNK is a virgin? You said Levi and Hanji, or Levi, I guess. I'll give you that one 100% because
Yeah.
Who in SNK did Mikasa kill? You didn't get that one.
Yeah, I was like, who? And then I remembered that motherfucker Flock.
So the next one was who in SNK is most likely to get a terrible tattoo? You said Hanji. I 100% agree. They probably do it themselves too. The next one was who's in SK was taller than Hanji. You said Irvin. That is correct. I will give you that point. The next one is who's most likely to have a disease named after them? You said Hanji. I definitely see that happening. So I'm giving you that one. The next one is who in SNK has blue eyes? You also said Irvin? Yeah, you did. And I'll give you that one because that literally, you cannot dispute that. Who in SNK will take care of others when they are sick? You said Levi. Also said Mikasa too, and I agree as well. Mikasa definitely would. I mean, maybe only Aaron and Armin, but like, I mean, if she absolutely had to.
I feel like she would take care of the girls too.
Oh yeah. Like Sasha and
Yeah.
Sasha. I love that. Who in SNK is from Walrose? You said Jean. That is correct. Oh, I think Connie and Sasha were also from.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So if you said any of those 3, then I would have been like lit. Awesome. Who in SNK will blame their farts on other people? You said Levi? Yeah. He definitely would.
Yeah, because I feel like no one expects him to have been the culprit, and he like takes advantage of that. He's a bitch for that because his are the stinkiest.
Oh god, yeah. Same with Mikasa. I mean, Mikasa literally, I mean, she already did it to Sasha in season 1.
Right,
But I think
but
Mikasa and Levi would be the freaking Ackermans, man. Who in SNK was part of Aaron's military squadron in the struggle for Tross District arc? You said Thomas. You like just made it in time. Who in SNK is a horrible actress? You were late, so you didn't get that. But I don't know what you said. So and the next one was who in SNK would have a crush on an anime character? Oh god. Out of spite and love for my son Armin, I don't want to give you this, but like, and I can see it happening. So like, I
feel like he had, like that One Piece character with giant tits. What's her name? Nami. So I feel like he has like an android of that character with like tits hanging
oh my
out.
god. I reluctantly agree. Reluctantly agree. Okay. To an SNK started than Levi. And you said Historia. That is correct. And then the last one, who in SNK would you trust your drink with at the club? Levi. If anyone says anyone other than Levi, I'd be like, no.
Yeah, no way in hell.
Oh my god, you got 13 out of 16. Look at you go.
Holy shit.
You did well.
I didn't expect that, to be honest.
Thank you for playing it. And thank you for being on this podcast.
Thank you for having me. Oh my god.
Thank you so much for everything today. I enjoyed it a lot. Did you enjoy it as well?
Me too.
You okay?
Yeah, I feel like we're a good team. Oh, I had
Okay.
so much fun with this. This was great.
I'm so happy. And I will now pass the mic over to our host.
Levi, what if, Levi nodding his head at Hanji slowly, a subtle gesture for her to continue speaking. For lunch they had settled for one of the diner just along the wide shopping streets, only a few minutes' walk from the building. An eventful few minutes' walk. Levi had turned on his love alarm, put an earbud to one ear, and listened to the alarm ring on repeat as he followed Hanji through the streets. There were a few other notifications that popped up and left as he listened, but the ringing coming from that one heart, which he had already surmised long ago, was from Hanji's heart, had settled into even the cadence of his steps. It became an ubiquitous part of the short walk to the shopping street. When they had settled in the dinner, though, Hanji was quick to drop her phone in front of him and show him the history of her application. On her phone, there was one heart that remained steadfast through the whole 10 minutes walk as well. At that moment, Hanji pointed at it, then glanced quickly at Levi's own phone. What if you are attracted to me, and I'm attracted to you? Because this love alarm, it doesn't just check love, right? It checks attractiveness. So if a passerby thinks you're attractive, your alarm rings, Hanji said. Levi leaned back on the diner behind him, picking at his fries with a fork. He couldn't bring himself to eat one. Just the results of their testing that morning had him losing his appetite. Consequently, he had ordered the burger meal at the front of the menu, something he was in no mood to eat. So maybe, Hanji said. Hanji, we just met. During all the tests, I have never made anyone's love alarm ring. Besides, I don't think I would be the type of a guy to get attracted to someone at first glance. I don't believe in love at first sight. And someone who is married at that, if Levi had something in his mouth then as that thought ran through his mind, he was sure he would have choked. He was more grateful than ever that he hadn't started eating. But we saw it already. The application was giving the same reading, and when we were walking too. It never stopped ringing, Hanji explained. Still, she looked like she still was finding the right words. Levi understood her clearly, though. Hanji, are you in love with me? Hanji turned a bright red. What? No, I'm married. Also, we just met and I don't believe in love at first sight either. So do you believe there is a bug? Hanji nodded. Maybe. Or maybe the data you put into the application was flawed. Maybe there are things that need to be improved. That is a good point. So what do you suggest then, Hanji? I'll help you research. I pitched this application to Zeke because I wanted to try rolling something out similar to hospitals, psychiatric units. And if he invests, maybe we could improve the application, work to make it more accurate. That's the plan. But he said so himself, he's not going to invest in the application until the bug is fixed. But what if it is working as expected? What if it's just a matter of fixing the data? Hanji looked out the window, seeming deep in thought. Levi wondered if that last question had been for him or for herself. I can do further testing on this just to make sure, Levi said. The problem is, how are you going to convince Zeke to invest in this? Hanji sighed. I guess it's going to be a question of timing. I'll catch him when he's in a good mood and... Hanji, are you willing to admit to your husband that you might just be attracted to some stranger? That shouldn't have been such a difficult thing. He had heard before of married couples who window shop, so Levi amended the question in his mind. Are you willing to admit to your seemingly unhinged husband that you must just be attracted to some stranger?
And then next, we're going to hand it over to Ro. Don't at me, thanks. And she's interviewing the lovely Sav, aka Tundra in Africa. I'm so excited. Take it away, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
This is Don't At Me Thanks, also known as Ro. I'm here with Sav, also known as Tundra in Africa.
So you can probably find me on AO3 and Tumblr under Tundra in Africa. Thanks for inviting me here.
Awesome. We love to have you here. It's exciting that you're here, honestly. I guess we'll jump into the questions now.
Okay.
The first one I have for you is, what got you into Attack on Titan?
Okay. So I was actually into Attack on Titan back in 2011 or 2012 when it first came out. Because I remember my friend literally on a car ride home telling me, oh yeah, there's this weird new show with like soldiers and with titans like attacking the wall. So obviously I watched that. And to be completely honest, my first ship there was actually Revecha. As in Levi and Petra. And I've always had the Hurt Comfort kink. So I actually did read Levi and Petra Hurt Levi Fix back when I first got into it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but then what happened after that was I got out of it, obviously, because season 2 took like 6 years. So after that, I got into it again last year because I was done with college, and back when I was college, I didn't have time for anything. So when I was out of college, I decided to binge Attack on Titan. It's one of the few shows I binged in a while because I'm really not a binge watcher. Like, I really suck at binge watching shows. I can only watch 3 at a time. Attack on Titan was just too good that I was able to watch everything in one go. I started looking for a lot of Hurt Levi fics. So when I was actually watching Attack on Titan, I was watching during the day, but at night I was looking for like Hurt Levi fics. And I started reading the Iruri because I was hella desperate. And then after that, I started writing. But the first fic I wrote was just like, I was just writing Hurt Levi fics. And I think it was around chapter 126 where I started getting into Levihan.
So you started reading the manga like halfway through the anime?
I finished season 3. And then after I finished season 3, I was like, I have to continue this. So at first, I had this break, I think, where I was like, you know what? I could just wait. But then, I started reading like Hurt Levi. And then I found out, oh, Levi gets hurt. So I ended up reading manga because of that.
That's what drew you into the manga. Okay.
Yes.
That's
Okay.
great. Anyways, the next question is going to be, what drew you into the Levihan ship?
I am so sorry. I am so late with Levihan. Like, I know a lot of people would say, oh yeah, the first thing was, in episode 9 where, he went, oh, where's the normal Titan over here? I didn't have that, okay? That didn't get me. I was really just like, oh, they're just doing it as best friends.
Bestie.
Yeah. Actually, what happened with me is just that I felt like Levihan drew me in like how most of Isayama's foreshadowing draws you in. Similar to that. So, you know how with Isayama, you actually didn't know that the Marley thing was going to come out? Like, when it happened, it's like, it makes so much sense. When they actually reveal it in the basement and everything, it makes so much sense. But you never saw it coming beforehand. So for me, I only started shipping Levihan after chapter 132. I was just watching 132 and I was at this point where, how Angie goes, oh yeah, that's that. And, so bye. They go and, Levi's like, hey, where are you going? That scene? That was the exact scene. I was still in denial and I was really just like, wait, what?
Peace out, I'm out, And that was, oh, maybe, okay, maybe.
And I was like, Levi, you're not going to stop them? You're not going to stop them, really?
Honestly, that's what actually drew a lot of more Levihan shippers was that chapter, so I understand.
Yeah, for me it was that, because the subtle hints were there already. Like, it's the same with how Isayama put subtle hints that, the island wasn't what you thought it was. Like, you didn't know, there were subtle hints that it was an island. But it was same for me. Like, there were subtle hints that Levihan was there. But then, it was only after 132 when Levi was like, see you later. And I was like, holy shit, I was so sad. And so I went on a fic binge.
So what you're saying is Isayama ships Levihan.
He fucking dropped the hints of Levihan. How he drops foreshadowing. Like, he really did.
It's there. Subtle hints. It's there. Okay, so next question to follow that up is, if you were to pick out of all of the headcanons that are out there, what would be your favorite go-to headcanon that you will always insert into your writing, your fics?
I think I've talked about this before. I think I've done like too many metas about this. But Hanji is rich. Hanji is rich. That is the headcanon which will show up in all of my fics and I can't take it the fuck out. I mean, that's pretty much it because it makes so much more sense considering the Hanji has too much, you know how we have the Maslow hierarchy of needs? Hanji is always on top on the self-actualization part. And that meant that Hanji must have fulfilled all of their needs from a young age to be able to consider that self-actualization part to such a profound level, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get it. And for Hanji to have all the knowledge that they have, like, you know, because
Yeah.
Hanji is considered to be one of the smartest people, one of the smartest characters, like, compared to Levi. I don't know, like, it makes sense.
It makes so much sense because if you consider the fact that, for example, Hanji had to have been well read, had to have been well educated. And if you consider the fact that there's a huge disparity between the rich and the poor, that meant that Hanji couldn't have been poor. Maybe they could have been middle class at least, but then I'm just really imagining like a really huge disparity, and the fact that that same education probably wouldn't have been available to Eren, to Mikasa, and even to Armin. Yeah, so that's my own suspicion. And basically, I think that Hanji was basically disowned by their parents because they were just really eccentric and then they considered going to the Survey Corps. And I really think Hanji would have only made that choice if they had the resources in the first place.
That's interesting. Okay. Another question. Did you ship anything prior to Levihan? Like, if you did, like, are there any similarities to Levihan that you realize now?
I was a big fan of Royai, but I actually never read a lot of Royai fan. I actually never read a lot of Royai fan fiction, but then I don't think I need to like go into the details of how similar they are because I'm pretty sure a lot of people have already discussed that.
Yeah, and apparently there's a lot of people in the Levihan server that are Full Metal Alchemist fans.
Yes. I mean, because Fullmetal Alchemist, AOT are very similar, actually. Like, you're going to find a lot of the similar tropes in both of them. So I would recommend to most people that if they watch AOT, that they also watch FMA. And, on top of that, I was really in love with Yuri and Victor for a while. That was actually one of my biggest binges.
Nice, yeah.
And I think one of the reasons I loved Yuri on Ice, it was extremely subtle. Like, the subtlety of Yuri and Victor in Yuri on Ice and the subtlety of Levi and Hanji is relatively similar. Like, it sneaks up to you. And, like, you know, for example, Yuri and Victor, they actually don't show a lot of the romance, or they don't actually, it's not explicitly there.
Yeah.
Like, the kiss was censored. And then, you know, the engagement rings were like promise rings. So, you know, you could actually consider the same thing for the forest scene, because it's like, oh, they practically censored Hanji's proposal to Levi.
Yeah, I can see it.
How are there people who think that asking someone to live with them in the forest isn't romantic?
Yeah,
we all know.
Proposal. We all know. All right. Do you actually ship anything else at the moment other than Levihan?
So I've been looking for a lot of AG and Ash fanfiction. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I did have a Haikyuu phase, and I have a huge affinity for sports animes.
Okay, so next question is your top 3 AOT characters and why?
Hanji. Hanji's number 1. Like, initially, my number 1 used to be Levi. But then, I guess over time, I'm not sure if it's because, you know, I was constantly, like, writing Hanji. And then, obviously, I was always writing Hanji in Levi's point of view. And I've always painted them as this god figure. Because, obviously, in Levi's point of view, I always make Levi, like, look really in love with Hanji, right? And I always have to make Hanji look good. So, I think over time, I've just started falling in love with Hanji myself. So, even though I've been in love with Levi first, it just really became Hanji. So it used to be initially like Levi, Hanji, Armin, but over time it just Levi and Hanji's positions just switched. It's just my natural propensity to write Hanji as like a god because that's how Levi saw them, and now I guess they ended up my favorite.
And Armin is your third pick, right?
Yep, Armin's my third pick. It used to be Erwin, but over time, you know, just staying in this fandom long enough, I've gained like a very.
All right. Moving on. Why Chundrain Africa? Why did you choose that user?
Okay, so I actually started, you know, playing around with fanfiction, I think when I was 13 or 14. And I used the name Savannah. So I was a weird 13-year-old. So I came up with the name Savannah Silverstone. And my sister actually discovered my account.
Oh.
And when she discovered it, she made a really ugly name for herself, Tundra Goldrock, and she started writing fan fiction for Vampire Diaries and Supernatural. And then what happened after that is I started writing fan fiction again. I think I got obsessed with Coco for a while, so I wrote a Coco fanfic. If you actually dig into Tundra in Africa, you're going to find all my fan fiction there. And then it's
I
more
am
of
going to do this. I'm going to dig after.
yeah, you could. You okay? My God, this is so embarrassing. But then, yeah, you know what? It's all there because I don't intend on deleting anything. But yeah, you could dig my fanfiction.net, my Tundra African under. You're gonna find a lot of hurt fics. Like I just want to injure someone. It's like I watch
my
show and I'm like, God damn, I really just want to hurt this person. So I just write a bunch of fics where I do, and you could actually dig through that. So I wrote one 2018 because I had like a phase, a really bad Coco phase. It lasted probably 1 month, 2 months, and I was like, I got over it. And then what happened next was I got back into fanfiction now, and then I already had Tundra in Africa there, so I already used it. So I just kept the name. But basically, I stole my sister's name because it was Tundra Goldrock.
Mm-hmm.
So I put it Tundra, and then I just put in Africa there because at first I was thinking Savannah in Africa. Then I realized, you know what? I like snow. I don't even like summer. I don't even like hot places. So I just switched it. I stole my sister's name and I just put it there. So that's how it became Tundra in Africa. But yeah, that's pretty much how I started.
Interesting. Okay, that's cool. So what made you decide to start writing for Levihan? I know you mentioned that you were basically scouring for Hurt Levi, but what made you want to write for
Levihan in particular? The first AOT fic I wrote, it's called Vulnerabilities, I remember. And the thing is, because I was really looking for a Hurt Levi fic, right? And the only fics I could find were literally like, let's say, Aurori and Aurori fics. And you actually have to get through like really, really slow burns of a ship I personally don't even approve of just to get through the Hurt Levi meet, right? So after a certain point, I was just like, fuck this. I'm just gonna make my own shit. So I actually intended on making the vulnerabilities just me just playing around with Levi and him like being hurt or just him being like vulnerable or weak and him being taken care of by all the characters. So it was supposed to be a character study. Obviously, one of the ones I was more interested in or excited about was Hanji and Levi. Like Hanji finding out, oh, Levi's hurt, Hanji taking care of Levi, that type of thing. I just never got past that. I don't know why. I think it was because around that time I was also reading the manga. And when I got to 132, I was like, oh my God, I'm so sad. Like it just ended. Like I'm not sure if everybody went through this also. But when Hanji died, like, I was in complete denial. Because, like, obviously it was just like, okay, you don't expect that to happen, right? It was just Hanji like, oh, that's that. And then after Hanji goes, oh yeah, that's that. Okay, bye guys. And so Hanji leaves. And then you're just like, oh wait, they're gonna come back, right? Like, this isn't the end.
Yeah, I don't think anybody expected to wake up to that.
No one expected that, right? So I actually had a morning phase. I think it was like the sun is up and it was really 6 a.m. and I usually go out for a run and I was really just there in bed thinking to myself, oh my God, why can't I move? Why am I so sad? This is just an anime character. It was such a tragedy for me. It felt like one of those things where like, you guys had such a great thing going on for you. Why couldn't it happen? So I think I started off by reading just quintessentially Mi's fics. And they had a Hurt Levi fic. So I was like, in heaven with that. And then after that, I read Fanmoose was the one who got me into reading AUs. I was obviously really, really sad about Hanji being dead. So I was like, this is depressing as fuck. I'm gonna read like an AU. So the first one I read was actually Partners. And I forgot which other ones I was reading. Because I was already at the point in my life where I was exploring Levi and Hanji as a couple. Because I've read enough fics already. I read the one where the priest thought that Levi and Hanji were married. The one that's from just quintessentially me. I read the one where the chapter 115, the chapter 126 one. The one where Hanji like saves. Yeah, the one which just quintessentially me made. Then I started on Partners already. And I think I was playing around already with the prompts because they had the Levihan Angstober. So that's when I started writing. Okay. My initial plan was actually to complete all the Angstober prompts and then leave. I just got hooked. Like, okay, I had all the Angstober prompts. Like, I finished all of them, actually. What happened was I ended up reading another fic. And then that fic, it was in Japanese. It was a reincarnation fic where Hanji remembers everything and Levi doesn't.
Okay.
And I got so obsessed with the reincarnation prompt. So I went to the author and I was like, hi, can I translate it? They were all like, no. And I was like, oh, okay. Obviously, I was sad because I was actually sad for a while because I was like, oh my God, how am I going to find someone to talk to? So I was like, fuck this. I'm going to write a long Levihan reincarnation fic.
I think we all know what fic that is.
Yeah, that was Tale of Two Slaves. As soon as I finished Tale of Two Slaves, I'm done. I'm leaving. It never ended.
It never ends. Okay, so what is your writing process like, and what usually inspires you to write?
I think the fics which I wrote, out of my mind, were the Angstober prompts, and then Tale of Two Slaves. But then the rest of the fics are all prompts. So I would say that most of the fics are extremely self-indulgent. And if you notice, all of them have a hurt Levi. A hurt Levi in them.
Oh yeah.
So
We all know.
you notice that I'm not sure. It's really just like I wrote them because I plan on reading them one day. Tale of Two Slaves is actually the fic I wrote because that's exactly what I told myself. If I found this in the fandom, I would have consumed the whole thing. Probably because I was so indulged with Supernatural, Sherlock. I never had to write because everything was already there. I only had to read. So, oh my God, were you asking my writing process? Sorry, I think I digressed. Okay, my writing process. I always start with how I want to hurt Levi. To be completely honest,
You just think out all the ways to torture Levi.
Actually, in Love Bug, I knew I wanted to drown Levi. Since the start. Since the start.
I have questions for Love Bug. So
this doesn't caught you off guard, yeah. But the first thing I think about, I know, okay, I'm a complete weirdo. I think I'm a complete weirdo in that sense. But you know how people always have that scene where they say, okay, this is the scene which started the whole fic. For me, it's it's not really a scene per se. It's really just I want to break Levi's knees. I actually, yeah, that was for Two Slaves. That was one of my first thoughts. For Outlier, I was like, I haven't killed Levi in any of my fics. I'll kill him. So my writing process is usually I know how I want to hurt it, and I always have the ending scene and the starting scene planned out. Yeah, when I write, so what or why did you write this is such an important question for me. I have never changed an ending because people asked me to. It has always been the ending plan from the start.
Oh, okay. So that was actually that. There's actually the next question actually kind of has something to do with that. If you have any wish to rewrite or go back to, if you had the time, do you have any fics that you would want to change?
I look at my old fics actually. I've been actually wanting. I have been writing on Pre again, the chess one. Because I actually started rewriting it. Or I started continuing it already. And then I was cringing at my writing. I was really just oh my God. I wouldn't say I was bad before. But it's just that I think the major changes happened in Tale of Two Slaves. So I think people would notice, I guess, that chapter 1 to chapter 14, the writing style was completely different.
Moving on to this one's about Love Bug. So, what was the first spark that created an idea for Love Bug?
It was the Tumblr prompt. Someone asked for a love alarm AU.
Oh, okay.
The thing is, it was serendipity. Or I think it was just the fact that I had 3 prompts right after the other, which were lined up on my inbox. Number 1 was, hey, can I have a love alarm AU? Number 2, hey, can we have a fic where Levi and Hanji meet in the next life, but Hanji's married? And then the third one is, hey, what do you think of Zekehan? And what do you think of the Levi-Zekehan triangle? And they were right after the other. So
it fell into place, basically.
It fell into place. So the first thing I actually did was I watched Love Alarm. So I watched it with my boyfriend. The thing is, every time I watch a TV show or every time I read a book, I am extremely talkative. I'm just gonna be all they never explained this. Or, they never explained that. And one thing they never did was explain how the love alarm worked. They spent so much time in the show being dramatic over the love triangle. I mean, I'm not sure if people have watched it, but you know how they never actually explained how the love alarm worked. So I actually spent a good few minutes after watching, I think, 3 episodes. I think this is how the love alarm works. And, I was telling my boyfriend this and then this. And then after that, I speculated way too much about how the love alarm worked. And it'd be such a waste if I don't use it anywhere. So I ended up an AU where Levi's the developer. So I have an excuse to contemplate how it works. And I'll just make Hanji married to Zeke. And one of them's hey, I want to drown Levi.
I'm sorry, but that was my favorite. Whoever hasn't read Love Bug, go read it now. It's 14 chapters. It is a roller coaster to get through, but the ending was satisfying, so I recommend. Okay, so next one is also about Love Bug. Was there anything that you meant to put in Love Bug but was cut out of the finishing product?
I had one. No,
Mhm.
no one's gonna agree with this because this one was so self-indulgent. I knew from the start that I was never going to put it in the ending. Indulging myself by writing an alternate ending where I just killed off Levi.
Oh, I was actually going to ask you about that. That
Did you? Yeah, go on, go on.
I was gonna ask, I actually had a question where did you have an alternate ending like if you were comfortable sharing it with us?
Yes, I had
Oh
the
my
alternate ending. Okay, so first, before I talk about the alternate ending, I was intending to write some scenes in Hanji's point of view,
okay.
but it just didn't make any. I mean, I guess from the start, one of the appeals or one of the general things which appealed to me about Love Bug was that it was on Levi's point of view, and they wrote Levi as such an awkward prick the whole
Mhm.
time. So it just didn't make any sense to like have some scenes in Hanji's point of view. So I guess right now what I'm doing is I'm just writing some of the scenes and I'll probably just release them as just drabbles or something of what I
Oh, that's
had
fun.
intended for what I had intended for Love Bug. So that was scenes from Love Bug which never made it to the final product. And I think a lot of scenes there were supposed to be more Zeke and Levi interaction. Like I felt like that was missing. I wanted to go telenovela with this. Like
It was almost crossing that.
he was almost crossing that, right? But then the thing is, Love Bug, I think the stuff kind of made sense. I mean, the twist and
Mhm.
turns kind of made sense. I guess hopefully it did. But I was indulging Levi dying. This is around when I was writing the 12, 13, 14 chapters already. Like chapter 9 or chapter 10. That's the one where Levi and Hanji were all muddy and it was raining.
Mhm.
That scene, right?
Okay.
I remember like daydreaming right after I released the chapter, and like Levi goes off in the middle of the night from the motel, and he gets into a car crash. He loses all his memories. It was either lose all his memories or dies.
Oh.
And then after that, what was gonna happen? Hanji was going to beg Zeke to pay for Levi's surgery and shit like that. It was never gonna happen, promise. It was never gonna come into fruition. It was like a mini fan fiction.
Thank you for sparing us from that.
That's my self-indulgent one. But then for me,
Mhm.
I already had an idea how Love Book was gonna end because there was a story I wanted to tell. So I wrote it differently. I wrote it with a happy ending. But if I let myself indulge, Levi would have gone into his car crash. He would have been completely indebted to Zeke, and Levi and Hanji wouldn't have ended up together. So yeah,
Oh.
that's Love Bug, the alternate ending.
Well, Love Bug ended beautifully. Is there anything that you wish that you had left out of Love Bug, or do you like it as it is?
I found chapter 6 the most boring chapter. I mean, people might like it, I guess, but then I just felt like Levi and Hanji were having too many lunches together.
So you think that it would have been better off without chapter 6?
Not that it wouldn't have been better off, but it was just the most boring one. But I personally think I wrote Love Bug fine.
It's good that you're very satisfied with what you put out. That's really important.
Mhm.
No regret.
No regrets, Love Bug's already out.
Well, that fic is pretty popular, honestly. So you did everything right, to be honest.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So, what was your immediate reaction to seeing how popular the fic had become?
I personally did not know how many people were reading it. Because I
Really?
think for me, I hide my stats. My first chapter of Love Bug wasn't really popular. So
Okay.
it didn't get a lot of feedback. But I was like, you know what? This fic is fun, and I haven't drowned Levi yet. I'm gonna continue writing it. It got popular when Ren Rampant posted the art.
Yeah.
And then after that, I was like, oh, hey, people are actually like reading this shit. I only figured it out around chapter 10 or 9. It was in the chapter in the motel with the 2 rooms and 1 bed. And then Isela was like, "Oh, you're talking about your fic on Twitter." So that's when I actually searched it, and I was like, "Oh, people are talking about this fic. Nice."
Yeah. When people bring up your account, your blog, they're like, "Oh, Love Bug." So
I know. I mean, I have an idea because of the amount of comments I got. But then at the same time, it's like, you don't really know. Because, I mean, I don't know. There are people who consider kudos. There are people who consider comments. And I think for me, it's really just like, I only open my AO3 account on Sundays to look at comments and reply.
okay.
I hide my stats every time I open my AO3 account or every time I open anyone's AO3. I just read for the sake of reading, and then it just hides everyone's stats. It's just a good exercise to just make sure that when I write because I want to finish this fic. Well, I enjoy the feedback. Definitely I do. But it's like, I think when you hide the stats or when you don't
Mhm.
think too much about the stats, you're able to write because you want to write this, not because you think it's going to be more popular than that. So I actually didn't like pick up on Love Bug's popularity.
Like honestly, I can praise that fic like so much.
Honestly, Tale of Two Slaves, Love Bug, they did not get traction from the start. Like, I remember slogging through like 2 chapters, 3 chapters, and I'm like, oh yeah, no comments, oh no comments. But this is what I noticed when it comes to writing really long fics. I only built a reader base around chapter 13, 14. For Love Bug, I think the reader base built around chapter 7, chapter 8, based on like the amount of comments. Because I usually reply to the comments before I post the next chapter. If you post regularly, it just builds a readership, especially if you time the chapters properly or you time the twists and turns on the chapters properly.
What are some details about Levihan that you think other people tend to overlook?
Levi and Hanji's attitude towards money. Because I usually write like wealth disparity, Levi and Hanji. And one thing which I have been reading about in canon, I'm not sure if I read this in Japanese or English, but I have been like reading around the Japanese or the metas in the Japanese part, and this is what they were saying. Hanji is actually better with money than Levi.
Oh, okay.
Levi actually has this certain tendency of buying shit in the survey course, which nobody actually needs. So he buys really the most expensive tea, he buys the most expensive gingerbread stuff, or the most expensive shortbreads. And the reason why he does this is because he's actually deprived. And that's why he always buys it. And I had not sure if this is a headcanon or if this is something I read. But Hanji, being where they are or doing the job they do, actually has money sense. Like, Hanji actually has more money sense than Levi because they handle the logistics. So, as a result, or by transitive property, they also handle money or the budget. Levi actually, even though like I say that he's more of like he's really really good at the house and stuff like that, he's not actually good with budgeting. It's Hanji who's good at budgeting. I mean, I haven't read a lot of budgeting fics, have I? I mean, not really. I think I've talked about this once or twice. Or I think I've just talked about this with my boyfriend. So, yeah, there's the budgeting thing. There's like the money head canons. I think that's something.
I don't think I've ever thought of that before. So,
yeah, it's. I just have weird moments where I just do stuff every day and think, how would Levi and Angie do this?
But it's details like that that make like flesh out the Levihan ship further. Like,
that's true. I've never been a headcanon person. I've always been a if you want a headcanon, write it in a fic person. So like, if I have a headcanon and I want to explore it, it usually shows up in a fic.
Okay, when reading fanfics, what are your top 5 favorite tropes?
Hurt Levi. Just hurt Levi in a fic. If you heard, honestly, I've read as embarrassing as it is, I have read every ship just to look for Hurt Levi. So it's like, the thing is, this fandom has so much Hurt Hanji. Or like Hurt Hanji, Amnesia Hanji, Hanasaki, Hanahaki Hanji, Cancer Hanji, every dead Hanji. I swear, okay, like I was literally making a project in my head, like thinking, because you know how RK has like, how these hours is they have like their Levihan like fan fiction analysis thing going on, right? I was considering, like, I was literally at the process of like thinking about this in my head, comparing the amount of Hurt Hanji fics to Hurt Levi fics to see how deprived
the ratio, the percentage of Hurt Levi in the Levihan.
Yes. The percentage is like, I have read really good Hurt Hanji fics out there. Okay, let's look at the end of all things, right? Like. Drew has that. And then Fanboos has Partners. And then Ariana Amore has Jello. And then it's those types of fics where I think to myself, damn, this fic would have been a fucking masterpiece if it was Levi Hurt, not Hanji. Like, no, they're still masterpieces in themselves. It's really just that in my head, like, wow, like, they're masterpieces. So yeah, Hurt Levi, number 1. Number 2, Rich Poor. Oh, okay. Rich Hanji Poor Levi. Have been obsessed with that, and I will always be obsessed with that.
Seen quite a few like fics where Levi's always the poor one.
Yeah, because he has to be the poor one. Like,
it's canon. He was poor. So
that's true. I've been playing though with. I mean, I have a fic in mind where Hanji's the poor one and Levi's the kind of rich one. It's just that it's more difficult for me to write. That's why I've never released it. Number 3 is. I really like, I'm not sure if you consider it a trope, but every time I read a fic, I like that it's well researched.
Like when you read, you can tell that the person who wrote it knows about the topic, basically.
I would think, maybe not. It's basically how I approach Love Alarm or watching any show. Like, I ask so many questions. And if the question hasn't been answered by the end of the fic, I am probably that annoying viewer who's just gonna sit in the room and say like, they never answered that question. They never
The
fleshed
plot
out that
hole.
one. And no, but honestly, like I am also the type of reader. Like if I read something and then I see a glaring thing, sometimes I'm the type of person who's gonna Google. And if it can be answered in just one Google, like first page, it's like I'll just close the fic. So I just put it down. Like I've been doing it since I was 12 for different fandoms. I haven't found one yet in the Levihan fandom where I have actually put it down because it was badly researched. It was mostly other fandoms. Number 4, reincarnation.
Oh, okay.
Reincarnation.
That's a great
I,
thing.
Right, it's such a great thing. I'm obsessed with reincarnation. Reincarnation soulmates. I live for that. And number 5, major character death. But it has to be Levi. You can't kill Hanji. Actually, I write Hurt Hanji too. But I write Dead Hanji too because that's canon. But I love Dead Levi. If you can't hurt Levi, you could kill him.
Oh, poor Levi.
Oh yeah, but make sure Hanji mourns.
Just letting you know, Levi is never safe Sab's hands. What did he do to deserve this?
I don't know. It's like I literally watch a show, I get obsessed, and I think to myself, I want to hurt this person. And then I look for I search the hurt tag, I search the dead tag.
I hurt this character, dead this character.
Yes, and I do it in different languages. Levi, doliendo.
Sab doesn't discriminate, Spanish,
don't
French, Japanese, English, all it's impressive how much you love Hurt Levi. I've never heard of Hurt Levi until I met you. The hurt and comfort trope, yeah, but Hurt Levi being a tag, I learned that from you.
It's a tag, but I just don't tag mine under Hurt Levi. For some weird reason, I don't. I think it's because my fics don't revolve around Hurt Levi half the time. Because I don't want them to. I actually want my Hearth to be just an instrument in a bigger thing.
It's like your fic with a side of Hurt Levi.
Hurt Levi should always be a side dish. Like Love Bug. I mean, as much as I wanted, Hurt Levi is probably just one scene. Like Tale of Two Slaves. Hurt Levi was just the whole catalyst of how everything happened. So it has to be a side dish. That's why it's hard to put it as Hurt Levi.
Okay, so are you working on anything new right now that you're comfortable with sharing?
Right now, actually, I haven't worked on this because it's really, really long. I think it's gonna be 5 or 6 chapters and it's probably 50,000 words already. It's this fic where Levi ends up in a coma. I've been craving coma Levi for a while, so I have been literally writing this. It's basically Hanji and Levi are childhood friends, estranged childhood friends, and when Hanji comes back, Levi's in a coma. Yeah, I've been writing that one.
I should have seen this coming, but I'm interested to see where you're gonna take it.
And I have been writing another fic. This is actually a birthday gift to someone. It's a fic where Hanji's a scientist, Levi's a soldier.
Okay.
And Hanji actually meets Levi when they try to change to work in a hospital, that type of thing. And Hanji meets Levi there. It's it's basically another Hurt Levi fic. But yeah, I'm just honestly indulging because they're usually just prompts in my inbox. Probably if I didn't have the prompts in my inbox, part of me would have stopped writing already. But then it's I get them, and every time I get them, I'm like, this is so interesting. The prompts are usually just an exercise. I mean, they're exercises for me. And that's why I really enjoy getting them, even though it may take me so long to work on them. But I intend on finishing all of the prompts in my inbox before I ever drop Levihan. So anyway, thank you to everyone really for dropping prompts.
Yeah, you guys heard that. If you don't want Sab stop writing, just spam their inbox with prompts.
I have this one fic I've also been writing. I just want to... Okay, this one has actually 3 chapters done already. I just haven't finished it because I want to complete it first before I post. Someone dropped this really nice prompt in my inbox. Levi gets kidnapped by Marley. And I was like, oh, right? That was such a good prompt. So I actually have been writing this. It's a Zcon fic because Levi is kidnapped by Marley. And the only way for Hanji to get information on why Levi was kidnapped is from Zeke. So yeah, Hanji has been entertaining Zeke. I wouldn't say not NSFW, but then has been entertaining Zeke and has been talking to him and has been interrogating him and just hanging out with him and bonding with him just to get information on Levi. So it becomes a love triangle. So I've been working on that too.
You are a legend in the Levihan writing community. So thanks for coming to answer all these questions on the podcast. It's an honor to have you here, really, to interview you and speak with you. So
honestly, I feel so touched that you actually considered me. So really, I'm just honestly my current writing. I personally find my writing my life is such a mess right now. I spent so much time just writing Levihan, but it's really worth it. Really is.
It's great to read. Your writing style is amazing.
Just want to thank everyone, like to all the people who read it. I'm honestly grateful for like the kudos and all of the feedback I get from about my fix. And I'm also like really, really happy that people are actually reading my stuff and people are dropping stuff in my inbox. It was like that's the reason why I continued writing. So yeah, I'm really grateful. Really, really grateful for it. So thanks to everyone.
Thank you for joining us.
Okay, folks, we are bringing it back. Our last segment is the vet segment. Today's guests are Zeke and Tika. You asked, and they answered. Take it away for us.
We're doing this shit again. Shh. Let's get this over with then. First question. How does it feel to be a sex symbol? What the fuck is sex?
More questions. Oh goody. Angie, since Levi bathes you when you're too focused on researching Titans, have you ever returned the favor if he was too focused or stressed about something and knocked him out in return? Well, it's not that hard to get him in the bath with me, and not unconscious.
It's a pleasure to be answering your questions once again. Let's see here. Owen, at what point did you realize that Levi was in love, and Angie or you? I'm not sure what you mean by Armin or me, but it's obviously me. As for when I noticed Han's affections towards Levi, well, they are a normally affectionate person, but it was really when they'd get flustered while being manhandled by him. And the nicknames, it's like their own love language of sorts. For Levi, it was when he started to take Angie's personal health and hygiene into his own hands.
Mike, who would you rather play tricks on? Between who, because it's not going to be Mr. 2 feet tall kneecap stealer.
Nanaba, I do like Angie's companion. They're super cool, never a dull moment with them. It's great that I don't have to carry the conversation, even if it puts me to sleep sometimes.
Well, Blake, in real life, you're in love with Levi, right? What does the captain think?
No.
Why do people ship you with Angie? Levi has canonically kicked yours 3 times. Maybe they want my ass kicked a 4th time.
Angie, the first time Levi was unpleasant to you. Why didn't you give up the idea of being friends with him? Ooh, well, some will say that first impressions are everything. But he was too gosh darn cute trying to kill me and all.
Owen, can you tell us some jokes? Oh, you all want my entertainment. Let's see. What's brown, long, and sticky? A stick.
How much do you like to mess with Levi? Not too much. I avoid pushing the little shit's buttons on bad days. You know, to protect my kneecaps and all. But sometimes the urge is too strong. Like when I shoved his face in sewage water. He needed to be humbled, and it was too easy.
Hey Zeke, I'm the bonga. You're a smelling monkey. You know, I just got here and I already wish your parents were older than us.
Who do you think is the most trustworthy of the veterans and why? Levi. He's the complete opposite of a gossiper. And a machine out on the field.
Apart from being constantly terrified for Angie's well-being, what else goes on in your mind? Oh, well, you know, normal things like the state of our government and the constant threat of a genocidal apocalypse.
What deodorant do you let Angie use after baths? Holy water, because their body odor is borderline demonic.
Angie, can you say Aurora for me, please? I love you. Ooh, I love you too. So you want me to say Aurora? Alright, ahem.
I have another hilarious jest for you all. What do you call a fish wearing a bow tie? Sophisticated. Ha.
Zeke, do you miss Harambe? Who the fuck?
How did you and Erwin meet? The military, obviously. We trained together.
Do you have any nicknames and stories behind them? Some people call me Nana, and short of my actual name, a certain idiot calls me Banana. Because apparently my hair looks like a bunch of bananas.
What are the best drinks we should try? What are the drinks we should not try? Wine is good whiskey too. For drinks that you should not try, anything that Angie mixes, you'll end up blackout or in the infirmary.
Who the fuck are you? I am Tika.
How do you feel about the fact that everyone wants to set you up with every character on the show? I feel like they need to do something better with their lives.
Angie, how can I cultivate the same sense of wonder and excitement in my daily life as you do? Well, for me, I think of every day as a new opportunity for discovery and learning. What's better than a hunger for knowledge? Consider taking on some hobbies.
Hey, when it's Tuesday, innit? It's Thursday, actually.
So you can Levihan canon. So you Levihan, you mean me, the captain, and the Titan scientist. That would be interesting.
Mike, what's the relationship between you and Erwin like? Do you two have a little something going on in the background? Wouldn't you like to know? Mostly professional. After our duties, we're good friends.
Levi, what was going through your head when Harambe got shot? Who the fuck is Harambe?
Zeke, why are you literally the worst thing to happen ever? It's almost as if you're quoting my father.
Have you guys done the deeds? Me and who? Levi, because we've done many things to each other. I mean...
Does Angie remind you of Mr. Xavier? What was your first impression of them? Well, they both are curious minds with different personalities and visual impairments. First impression of Angie, they probably wanted to put me under a microscope, and I don't know if I let them or not. Nonetheless, they're decent company.
How was your 1 month fair with Zeke in the forest before he turned all your subordinates into titans? Fuck you, trip on a knife.
Zeke, are you and Angie in love? What are Levi's opinions about this? As far as I know, we are not. Levi would probably flame me in 21 different ways.
How bad does Angie really smell? Watch it, that's your superior you're talking about. It's best that you leave it to your imagination, for the sake of your nose hairs.
Okay, this isn't a question, just know that I fucking hate you. I have a bottle of wine with your name on it.
Who are you? Where did you come from? Where did you go?
Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
All right, as always, thank you so much to our guests and interviewers. Good job, Jazzy.
Good job, Jello.
Yeah, that's all we have for you today. There will be a form released at some point for more Ask the Vets. Thank you for sending them in. You guys are loving it, and I'm loving it. This is a good time.
Good time. And make sure you also let us know who you want us to interview for our future podcast episodes. Thank you so much.
Take care, guys.